it should say that we're live when it pops up. Yeah, we're live.
Yes,
Well, welcome
yes, we
back
are live.
to A Day of Light and Love. And I am make sure I hit the record here. Here we go. Well, welcome back to A Day of Light and Love. And this segment, I'm just absolutely thrilled to bring Kayla Conley on. Kayla is someone who lives in the UK. She's someone who I have gotten to know fairly well, even though we've never hugged in person, right? But we've certainly had a lot of conversations uh, through phone, telephone, through Zoom. And Kayla lives in the UK. Of course, I'm in the United States. And but what I know a lot about Kayla's stories because there's many. But of course we can't cover all of them. But Kayla, you were born in Jamaica. You grew up in Jamaica. And maybe you could just give us a brief little history of how it is that you came to be in the UK and stay and all that.
Okay. I I was born in Jamaica and I lived there for 24 years. And I had an older sister who came to the UK. And she loved to travel. She loved going into big cities. Of course, I was the third child and very shy. I was never as bold as my sister. But my sister said to my mom, it's time for her to leave Jamaica and see the big world and work in London and meet new people. And inside, I was so afraid. And my mom nodded and said, I think you should try that. So I came to the UK on a working holiday visa to stay for 2 years. And I remember saying to my mom, oh, don't cry because I'll be back in 2 years. If you're a parent and you're listening, don't listen to your children.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
funny. And so
Yes.
so your sister was there, and you went there sort of to try it out and expand your horizons, and
Yes.
you did expand them quite a bit because
Yeah.
it changed the whole trajectory of your life.
Yeah. Yes. But one of the things I've learned is always to keep moving in your life, regardless of obstacles. Because when I came, I thought, should I go to university? The fees are too high. I can't do this. I can't do that. And once I started moving, obstacles came out of the way. And it's wonderful when you can see the bigger picture from just getting up day one and making one small change. One small change, like working in a restaurant, but putting a suit in your bag after your shift to work in the corporate world. You can shift like that. That's what I did. I did that job 7 o'clock in the morning till 4 in the evening. And then I put a suit on and I went to the agencies and I said, I want a job here. I have this, I'm qualified. And eventually the door opened. And
Wow.
doors can open in ways you never expected. So I took my CV to this agency and I was annoyed with myself that it was back to front. And the woman looked at my name and she said, wow. At the time my name was Mitchell. She said, we have the same name. Shake my hand and I get you out in 2 weeks. Just that. And she really did. She really did. She got me out in 2 weeks. And that was the start of a different journey in the corporate world.
Wow. So you were just persistent.
I'm very persistent. I always think there is a way. There is a way. Whether it's too high or it's too low, there is a way. But persistency is one of the key skills in life. It works alongside being resilient and
Wow.
not listening to everything you hear.
Now, tell us a little more about that, not listening to everything that you hear.
Well, I do believe people see life from their own perspective. Some of us are brought up with different, what's the word I'm looking for? Programming. We all have. We all come from families that program us in some way, and we have our beliefs formed based on those programs. But I believe as you get older, it's for you to really look at it and say, does it serve me? Does this have value? Can this elevate me? And from that, that's where you lose the programming or you reprogram it and make one for your own.
Interesting. So it sounds like you're talking about living in the now, that you're living in the moment and making assessments and judging actions in the moment and doing it freshly.
Yes, it's a wonderful thing to do, but it only comes to me with maturity. Because when I was younger, I would think that's the vision there. But oh, it's too big. I won't get it. It can't happen. But I know now at this age, if you ask yourself today, what can I do? How can I start one small change today? Today will look different to tomorrow. And in a week's time, you'll see something. And a month's time, you'll see something bigger. And that's how it snowballs. Yeah,
Wow. So consistency is part of persistence then, it
it
sounds
is.
like.
It is. It is. And that's formed from habits, habits of whether it's a habit of praying, habit of meditation, any habit you have that makes you feel really, really good, that will serve you. And mine is cycling. I love to get on that bicycle because I know the outcome, a good night's sleep.
Yes, you do. You do spend a fair amount of time on your bicycle out in nature, don't you?
I love it. I love it. It
But
gives me so much peace.
but you've referenced to me in conversations what you call your prayer room.
Yes,
So you start your day
yes.
in prayer, and I don't know if you call it meditation or contemplation or just prayer. Could you maybe just expound a little on that practice that you have? Because I know from speaking with you, I know how much centeredness it brings you, how much connection.
Yes. It's a wonderful, it's almost, it serves me like grounding me for the day. There was time given to that area of my life because we do have the physical, we do have the spiritual, we have the emotional, and we have the mental. And if we can give something to each part of our life that serves us or serves the soul, we get up and we feel more balanced in ourselves. Now, from my practice, it's easier to get up when the house is quiet and have my prayer time. And I know I've I've been thankful, I have asked, and I've asked for blessings for my community, my friends, and my family. And that makes me feel good because I feel like it's not just take, 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 take.
Yeah.
There was time given to that area. There was time given to say, I did ask for that. Let me see if I receive. I did pray for that person. Let me see how they're doing. It helps me to just feel whole, just feel more whole, just giving up that time. Love it.
And it's a daily practice for you, isn't it?
Yes, it is daily because it's almost like driving your car and you have one wheel that's puncture and it your car can't go as fast as it normally would. That's how I feel if it's not in my day. Yeah.
And how did you develop that practice, or how did you, like, how would someone develop a practice like that? What are some easy steps, simple things, just, because anything that we do consistently over time eventually becomes a habit.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like, and the way that you're talking about, I know you call it your prayer room, or you go, that there's
Yeah.
this feeling of a sacred moment, sacred
Yes.
space. And so
Yes.
for you, it's not just a habit, it's like a ritual, like you have a
That's true.
daily ritual.
Yes.
Someone referenced earlier about, I think it was Angelica, and she talked, you brush your teeth. We brush our, it's something like that. It's like something that you do. If you do it every day, it just becomes something you do every day. But you have
Yes.
to start somewhere, you
And
know, because
yeah.
we aren't really, I don't know that we naturally prioritize. I would love to know that we naturally prioritize that, but I don't think I saw that modeled. I
Okay.
definitely didn't see that modeled growing up.
Right.
I lived in a very, it was a more elevated culture compared to others, but I didn't see that modeled. And yet
Yeah.
for me, it is that daily ritual is it's such a confirmation of a connection.
Yes. It's interesting. I didn't see it modeled either, even though my mother was the one who gets us going to church every day. And there were times when she would say to me, go and get the Bible and read me that psalm. My father was a man who wasn't that interested in church, but if he wasn't feeling well, he would say the same thing to me, go get the Bible. And yes, he would always say that. He'd say, read me a psalm because I don't feel too well today. I don't think he would call the other sisters, but I was the one called to do that.
Wow.
But the when I moved to the UK, I realized when you when you're in a country and something happens and you can't run around the corner to see mom.
Yeah.
You can't say I have no dinner this evening. What did you cook? Can I come round?
Yeah.
Then I realized I needed a bigger anchor. I needed
Wow.
bigger anchor. And and it's the storms, the personal storms that led me to believing that if I'm anchored that way, then I can see the outcomes, the miracles, I can see them, I can be that witness because I'm centered enough. But if you're not centered, you'll really feel thrown around by life. Yes.
Okay, so back to my where I was taking this conversation. What are a couple of steps that you would recommend for someone who maybe doesn't have that practice in place, but maybe they're recognizing or they're wondering how would that make a difference for them? They'd like to maybe get started because it just seems like when you don't do it, I think it seems bigger than it is. I mean, it is really big to
True.
receive, but to do it, it's really
Yes,
quite
it's
simple.
true. Yes. And it goes back to the principle of starting small. It's going back, you can find books on prayer or write your own request in a notepad. It can be that small. There are lots of materials out there, but you can sit quietly and start praising, asking, and praying to receive. It's those 3 steps. It's those 3 steps and understanding more about being led by the Spirit. Yeah. It comes from that. But it's something small. You spend 10 minutes one day and you might feel good. Tomorrow you realize you spend 20 minutes and you think, wow, didn't see where the time went. And before you know it, easily you spend an hour a day. And it passed by in a way where you just feel good. Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you. Is there is there anything more that you'd like to say um, to someone maybe who's they're feeling either left out or they're feeling forgotten or they're feeling disconnected, lonely, maybe from circumstances that has nothing to do with relational issues. But, and then again, you have people with relational challenges and they have health challenges. what what word would you offer them? Because I know we haven't touched a lot on your life, but I know that hope is a very, it's just a very powerful energy.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know, I was reading because I read a lot, and I was reading Barack Obama and Michelle Obama's farewell speeches, their farewell speeches, and I was looking at how many times the word hope showed up.
Mm,
And I thought to myself, what a powerful four-letter word.
wow.
But now I know hope has to work hand in hand with vision. It has to. You can't have one without the other. You can have hope, but you need to find that vision. And the easiest way I started life here, I remember the evening, I thought, I had no one to share this with. I can't call my mom now because it's pretty late in Jamaica. What can I do? And that's the first time I bought a very small journal. It was beautiful, and every evening I wrote in that.
Mhm.
Every evening. And I realized you can sow the seeds of hope in a journal. It becomes a daily practice. That's where you sow it, but you do need to look at the vision. The vision works with hope. You can't have one without the other. You do need the two of them. And no matter what storms or transitions you're going through, aside from these work, it's looking at how can I start today and what can I start with? If it's 5 minutes, it's 5 minutes. If it's 10 minutes, it's 10 minutes. I remember years ago when I couldn't ride a bicycle. I bought adult training wheels because I realized I had to start somewhere.
Wow.
Yes, and I was taught by a trainer to ride a bicycle in my 30s. And what I did the next day, I went back to the park to the same place and I
Mm,
did the route again. And it's the same thing when we develop a habit or a ritual. We go back to the starting point and we see how long we can stay. I could cycle for just 10 minutes. No, I cycle for an hour because I can do that. I can do that. But it always starts with what you do now. How do you form a small habit? Just give a little of your time to now. 5 minutes praying or 5 minutes writing in your journal. As the years or the months progress, you realize, wow, I finished writing in my journal. And now I have a ritual that started from a habit and
yeah,
it serves me.
and
Yeah.
things tend to build on each other. You know,
Yes.
I have a daily practice that involves, you know, prayer, meditation,
Hmm.
writing in a journal, making a gratitude list. I do all of you know, all of those things, but I
Yes.
didn't start doing all of those things. I
That's
just
it.
started with one thing. So you said something earlier when you were talking about the training wheels, and it reminded me of an earlier conversation this evening where we were talking about acceptance and the importance of acceptance. And what I got from you was you were like, okay, I'm no good at riding this bike. So you had to accept that.
Yes.
And then you had to be humble enough to submit yourself to a process called adult training wheels
Yes.
until you got good at it. And you couldn't be too concerned with what you whether you thought you looked ridiculous or you just surrendered to the process of becoming.
There were lots of conversations around the training wheels. I got them first time. I didn't know they even made them, but I got them. And the young lads, the boys next door picked them up. And I remember my husband saying to me, they are going to laugh at you in the park with those. And the first thing I thought, let them laugh because I'm going. I was so determined.
That's
I
so
was
great.
so determined that
Yeah.
in the end, he booked a trainer for me. He booked the trainer, he booked the person to teach me to ride the bike. And the man said, you don't need the training wheels. I'll show you a technique. And that's how I left the wheels. But I
Oh,
still, yes, I left the wheels at home.
wow. Wow, that is
It's
amazing.
true. It is persistence. It's really because I felt like no one understood for me how important it was to learn to ride a bike. This was a skill I was thinking everyone should have this skill. How can you tell someone you have an MBA but you can't ride a motorcycle?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. It's almost like you skip a step in your life, isn't it? That gap, that simple skill, feeling free going on that bike. And it became this mountain for me. It became because every year passed. And then I had my daughter and she's now on a bicycle. And I'm thinking the whole family can go on a bicycle, but I'm the one who'll be left behind.
Yes, yes.
So
But
that
you didn't want to
motivated
be
me.
left behind.
I didn't want to be left behind, but I thought to myself, this is such a simple skill. I really need, and I need to learn this. And the interesting thing, the minute I gained the skill and I got it, I thought, right, the fear went and I was ready to learn to drive a car. So life happens, the more you step up one gear, just one gear, overcome, get rid of that fear, get rid of that, then you start to see you can tackle bigger mountains. It can
Beautiful.
become your own adventure.
It's beautiful. Thank you so much for your
You,
contribution
Julie.
tonight. And I
Thank
guess
you.
it's today for you.
It is. It's
It
early morning.
is. It's
I'll
early
start it
morning.
with my cup of tea. But thank you
Beautiful.
for having me this morning. It's been wonderful.
I love that
Wonderful.
you were here, Kayla. Thank you so much. And Merry Christmas to you
Merry
and
Christmas
to
to
your
you, Julie.
family.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to see the other